Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, where the topic is Microsoft Planner Evolved, Take Your Work Management to the Next Level. My name is Robert Stickle, and I'm also joined by Steve Tabaji and Jeff Pikulik, who is a project and work specialist at Microsoft. During today's webinar, attendees will be on mute and line will not be open for questions. However, feel free to use the GoToWebinar question features to submit any questions that you may have. I will address these during the webinar and will respond via email if we do not get to your specific question. If for some reason you get distracted or pulled away from the webinar, no need to worry, as I'll be emailing a link to the presentation once it has been posted on our YouTube channel. Thank you again, and I'll now turn the presentation over to Steve.
Thank you, Robert, and welcome everyone. Let's get started. My name is Steve Tabaji, and I'm with five-time Microsoft Gold Certified Partner, OnePlan Solutions. It's a pleasure to have you today with our 30-minute webinar on Microsoft Planner Evolved. I'm joined by Jeff Pikulik, as Robert mentioned, Project and Work Specialist from Microsoft. OnePlan is recipient of the Microsoft Project and Portfolio Management Partner of the Year Award in 2019 and 2021. We're also a certified Scaled Agile Platform Partner and have been recognized by industry analysts such as Gartner and Infotech. Here's our agenda. First, we'll introduce Microsoft Project and Work Management Solution lineup, focusing on Microsoft Planner and Microsoft Project for the web. Next, we'll provide a live demonstration comparing and contrasting these two work management tools. After that, Jeff will spend a few minutes sharing Microsoft's direction in this space. We'll then share an invitation to a special Microsoft Project Management event coming up in April. Finally, we'll wrap up with some actionable next steps. Microsoft has an assortment of tools for all types of task and work management. Here's a look at their lineup, starting with the basic capabilities of Microsoft Planner on the left. Further to the right is the standard for desktop project scheduling, Microsoft Project, followed by Project Online for advanced enterprise project and portfolio management. Microsoft realized there was a gap in the market and their lineup for a more powerful tool than Planner, but something lighter weight and easier to use for the occasional or accidental project managers. That's where Microsoft Project for the web comes in. In a minute, we'll show you some of its unique capabilities. We'll also touch briefly upon how the Microsoft Power Platform, namely Power Apps, can support these modern capabilities. So we'll go ahead and we'll demo Microsoft Project for the web, touching upon the new experience, how collaboration is done easily, intelligent planning, and the use of an innovation platform. Here we are in Microsoft Planner, which should be familiar to everyone on this webinar. Planner is a good choice for individuals and small teams who are looking to manage simple task-based efforts. Planner allows you to provide basic status information with limited customizations. Here I see a Kanban board where I can drag and drop tasks from one bucket to another, add buckets, otherwise known as columns, and mark tasks as in progress or complete. Now let's take a look at Microsoft Project for the web. I can access Project for the web from the Microsoft Project homepage. Here I see a list of favorite and recent project plans. Let's choose the software development plan. You'll see a Kanban board interface similar to Microsoft Planner. That's where the similarities end. Microsoft Project for the web supports dynamic scheduling, subtasks, dependent tasks, and reporting. Let's take a look at each. We'll start with the grid view. For those of you that have used Microsoft Project Desktop, this is a work breakdown structure in a very more modern, lightweight interface. You see that I have summary tasks with subtasks. I have a number of additional columns, such as duration, start and finish dates, assignments as far as resources, effort information, percent complete, and things like dependencies. I can add a number of additional columns as well. The grid view provides a web-based, easy to use work breakdown structure view for individuals who want to track and manage schedules. Now, let's take a look at the board view. Again, similar to Microsoft Planner, I can drag and drop tasks or cards in between different buckets or different columns. And I have many other choices here to group buckets. I can look at assigned to, progress like I'm showing here, finish date, or other labels. Now let's go to the timeline. This is a Gantt view. For those of you that are familiar with Microsoft Project, you'll be used to seeing a timeline, otherwise known as a Gantt. And here I'm able to see I'm able to see all my tasks. I can see who they're assigned to, and I can very easily move and manage tasks along the timeline view and have it in real time update and move other subsequent dependent tasks along the way. Now let's take a look at reporting. Here's a look at out-of-the-box reports that come from Project for the Web inside Microsoft's reporting and dashboarding solution called Power BI. Right now, I'm looking at a portfolio timeline. This is showing me a look across all of my different projects. I can see some progress information here in the bar charts, and I can expand or contract the view that I have to show me more or less information about all of these projects on a timeline. Let's check out the portfolio dashboard. This is a very interactive dashboard showing me lots of information about my projects, effort remaining. I have a number of visualizations here showing projects by progress or effort by project or projects by project manager. I can filter and just look at certain projects or ones that are started or in progress. I can also filter by project manager, just show me ones that Daniel or Steve or Woe is managing. And for your organizations that may be already using Microsoft Power BI, you get access to all the files for the reports and the dashboards so that you can extend and customize them to meet your unique needs. The portfolio milestone report is an interesting one that will surface milestones across all of your project plans. So here I'm seeing some recent milestones that were reached in the last 30 days. I can see the milestone itself, finish date, and what project it belongs to. There's even a link that would bring me right to that project inside Microsoft Project for the Web. I can also see upcoming milestones or completed milestones by project. With Project for the Web, you also get resource information. And here's where some of the Power BI reports really shine. I'm looking at the resource dashboard, which is showing me all kinds of information about resources and tasks and effort. I have a number of graphs here, bar chart, donut chart, pie chart, where if I want, I can filter and say, just show me the work that Daniel Williams is on and what his capacity or allocation might be. I can select multiple team members in the charts here, and it updates all the different areas here in line. There's also a resource assignments report. Here I can get more information about not only progress on individual projects and tasks, but effort, hours, completed hours, effort remaining, start and finish dates, and more information. There is a task overview report here where I can see overdue, late, on track, or completed tasks based upon project. And there is a project timeline view, similar to what you saw before with the Project for the Web timeline. Finally, there's a view into my work and My Timeline, which is a great way for individuals to see what they have for assignments on a time phase basis. Finally, it's worth noting that Microsoft has released a Project Accelerator built on the Power Platform with Power Apps to provide additional capabilities beyond projects and tasks information. Here I'm inside the Project Accelerator, and I'm looking at, on the left-hand navigation, a number of different areas such as project requests, program information, project data, resources and reports. And inside the details pane, I have a number of different views to provide me with some additional metadata about my projects. Schedule information, financials, effort, benefits. This is very configurable in terms of the fields that you can use. This is just an example of what we call the art of the possible. You can also capture and track things like business case, risks, issues, changes in status. The last part of the demo here is to show you the tasks area, which is actually Microsoft Project for the web embedded in the Power App. All right. Now let's go to Jeff Pikulik from Microsoft to tell us more about Microsoft's work management vision. Jeff?
Good. Thank you very much, Robert, for having us today. And Steve, thanks for the great friend on the Planner and Project for Web. So my role with Microsoft is I'm a work and project specialist. So for our enterprise accounts in the US, I'm part of an extended team of your account management team that helps organizations really leverage all the tools that Microsoft's bringing to the market today. And work and project management is one of the most active parts of the Microsoft suite, building from teams and really extending to all of that work that's shared across the organization. I just wanted to share a little bit about what's driving us, how we're thinking about this area. First and foremost, the number one thing we're doing is really thinking that a person starts their day focused on the work at hand and what they want to accomplish that day. So teams need to start where they want to work. So different forms of teams, different forms of projects. People work from home and some people work from an office environment. So we're recognizing that the types of tools from Microsoft they're going to leverage are based on how they want to work. But certainly you have program leads, you have functional leads, and you have project management offices that need to harvest that data. And I think Steve did a great job showing that you can actually originate a project in Planner or Project for Web or move a project across that continuum based on the complexities of the work. And from a program management office, you can actually harvest that data using either Power BI, the Project Accelerator, or both, and really making sure the enterprise is getting the results they want. So our goal is that regardless of type of project, the way or format that the team wants to work is that enterprises are being able to view that information. And once there's visibility to the projects, I think we can all make sure that we're getting the results from that investment the company's making in their project work. So some of the bigger things we're focused on, and Steve mentioned, we did identify that, certainly Project Professional, Project Standard has been the go-to tool for trained project managers for decades. And with Teams and Planner, we've been very successful reaching the informal projects. But there was a gap. We wanted to recognize that millennials and business owners really want a much more intuitive way to pull together project management information and get those projects up and running much quicker than they would have been able to do with Project Professional or Project Online. So what we're really focused on is allowing teams to choose where they want to work and the types of tools they want to have. And we recognize that Project for Web really is a nice tool to fit that sweet spot of you want enough structure that you can manage the program formally, but you also want to make sure it's quick and easy to get going. The other thing we recognized is that millennials really do like to roll into the work. They might approach work much more from either an agile or a planner board type of format. And then they move that project into a much more formal structure with a work breakdown and with Gantt and timelines and columns and kind of statusing and things like that. And we all want to be much more visual with the work that we're doing, whether that's our own tasks or the way we represent an important initiative to our executives and leadership team. The other one is no longer do projects fit into neat little bundles of dedicated delivery teams. So business processes, functions, individuals, and resources cut across the organization. And one thing that Steve mentioned, or at least showed us, but we didn't speak to, is that the Project for Web actually is pulling the resources directly from what we all think of as our email system, that Active Directory of resources that are tied to the Microsoft tenant within your enterprise account. So we're recognizing that we want to be quick and easy at finding the resources that are associated with our projects. But all of that said, underneath Project for Web is that rich scheduling engine that we're all familiar with and really has been the mainstay of the Microsoft project management platform. So we're able to make sure the work is done with predecessors, successors, that we're truly articulating duration different from effort and being able to manage a project on both those dimensions. And when we want to roll those projects up into programs and programs into portfolios, that Project Accelerator, which is a free download from GitHub directly to your Office tenant, allows you to get that bigger view across multiple projects, multiple programs, multiple services, whatever that might be. And the important thing with Microsoft is every time you're interacting with these various tools based on the complexity of the project or what data you need to get out of it from a PMO perspective, it's all built on the one highly compliant, secure, and trustworthy Microsoft stack. So that's where we're really focusing on. Is once you log in, you're experiencing the documents, you're experiencing Teams, you're experiencing the project, all with that same security wrapper that we've all found so important to trust in the current time. So when we look at everything available right now to an enterprise account that has the Microsoft Office 365 or M365 experience, we have a lot of different applications that do touch on task, work, and project management. On the left, we have your go-to productivity tools. We're all familiar with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. You can do @mentions in those, and those are actually going to be initiating tasks that kind of create some kind of work ask, some kind of ask to the organization, say, can you do this type of activity for us? And maybe those asks become more formal as a task, which we just saw show up in Planner at your Outlook and your personal planner. You can be in To-Do. And then SharePoint, obviously still a workhorse for organizations to have lists of tasks that people need to execute on, but they're very informal. They can be managed as kind of a work group, and you self-direct those if people might want to, just manage the things that are closest to them. On the right-hand side, we have really our 3 core platforms or applications that really bring in a scheduling engine, resourcing, often additional value-added components like storyboarding, points, things like that. So we have Microsoft Project, whether that's Project for Web or Project Online, it really brings that rich planning experience together. We have our development, our GitHub platform that allows developers to manage in an agile storyboard type format, and including code release and updates like that. And then if the project originates from what I call an order-based system, a sales order, change order, work order, any of those types of things, we still have our Dynamics platform, which leverages the same type of technology with Power Apps and Power Platform that the new Project for Web does. So we really have a rich place to go and do constraint-based scheduling and resourcing on the right-hand side. And I think Steve did a great job of showing how Power BI reporting and Power Apps can really bring those things together. So whether the tasks originate on the left or the tasks are originating on the right, you can bring that all into one experience for both reporting. And if you really want to simplify it, you can build unique Power App canvases that show users and individuals just the things they need to see. This is our ultimate goal, is that we want to have one task experience, or a term we're using is a task fabric, where whether the ask, the task, the project, or the work element is being created in any one of our tools, that we're able to give the Microsoft experience to the user and the reporting capability across the organization, so we can find those tasks, report on their status, report it on the effort and the resources associated to them. The important message I want to deliver with this slide is that no longer is project management or work management something that's embedded in just one tool. Certainly, some of the more senior people on the call might have grown up with Project Professional, and we used to always open a Project Professional and go do project management. Now we're really recognizing task management, work management, project management might exist in a lot of different places in the organization. And depending on how actively you are, how much of your workday is spent doing project management, you're going to interact with those tasks in a different set of tools. Across the board, we're really leveraging Microsoft Teams as the place where organizations, groups, and individuals come to collaborate. That will be common across all levels of the organization. But if you're maybe a day-to-day frontline worker, it's completely acceptable, as Steve showed, that you could actually have a task that is really pulled out into a Power App. And maybe those are the places we show a unique Canvas app shown on a tablet or maybe a mobile device to those individuals of these are the to-dos that they need to execute on today. If you're in the project team, it's highly likely that Project for Web or Planner will be the right tool for you to go in and manage the task, maybe even adjust the schedule or reorganize or reprioritize those tasks for different individuals. And if you're at a C-level or a director level, I would really think that most of your interaction is going to be through a Power App like the Project Accelerator or Power BI reports that Steve showed. So our goal is really to connect the organization to the work, but show them the information that they need to see based on their level of engagement with projects. So thanks for listening to the webinar, and within your account team, always reach out if there's anything we can do. Our ultimate goal also is around total cost of ownership. By using Teams appropriately, Planner appropriately, Project for Web and other project tools appropriately, you can lower the overall cost of participating in project management and get the right kind of free or lower cost or project management tool into your licensing agreement for your entire organization. So thanks, Steve.
That's great stuff, Jeff. Thank you so much for sharing that vision and direction. And I'm pleased to share with our attendees, both those on the webinar and viewing the recording, there's a 2-hour electronic online event that Microsoft is running on April 20th called Project Management for a Connected World. And this will really be an opportunity for individuals of any different roles to learn more about some of these capabilities of Project for the Web and the Dynamics platform specifically. Since it's not practical to include an invite link in a webinar, please do reach out to your OnePlan and or Microsoft project or account team contacts for a link to the registration. It's completely free. It's an online event. I want to say it's 12 to 2 Eastern, but I could be mistaken. That'll be on April 20th. There's lots of great documentation from Microsoft about the products that we've covered, and invite you to take a screenshot of this slide here, whether you're live on the webinar or watching the recording. There's some great shortcuts here, product pages, documentation, and actually the links to log in directly to the likes of Planner and Microsoft Project. One of the things that we didn't cover, Jeff, is that there's also a roadmap, a public roadmap that Microsoft has for all of their products, including the likes of Project and Planner, and that you can go to office.com/roadmap. There's also some when to use guides if you're not sure on which tool to use, and a link to tasks in Microsoft 365. So leave this slide up here just for another moment. People can either grab the URL aka.ms/ the various names, or a screenshot if you'd like. All right. So in terms of next steps from today's webinar, we did want to offer you the ability to provide a customized 1-hour presentation and demo for your company and your colleagues. If this is something that you found helpful and you think would be worthwhile to share internally, you're more than welcome to share the recording of the webinar, which we will be publishing shortly after today's session ends. But we can also work with you directly, whether that's your Microsoft project specialist and or your OnePlan account executive. Also want to mention that we do have a workshop for Project for the Web and Power Apps. It's a 3-hour event called a CIE, or a Customer Immersion Experience. This is an opportunity to work with Project for the Web and Power App subject matter experts, hands-on, over the course of a few hours. Again, this can all be done remotely, and that's something available to Microsoft Enterprise customers. It's on a limited first come, first served basis. So if you're interested in doing the workshop, please do reach out to Microsoft or OnePlan directly. Certainly, if you're looking to implement any of these capabilities, OnePlan can help you with training and/or support or implementation. And as always, we have a large library of on-demand videos and webinars. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here. I'd like to thank our special presenter, Jeff Pikulik from Microsoft, for helping share the Microsoft vision. At OnePlan, we're invested in your success and happy to address any follow-up questions that you might have. You can reach me via my email there, stabagi@oneplan.ai at any time.